Hi, good evening, everyone. I am Naeem with the No Nonsense Podcast. We also got Oscar with us today, and we have a guest as well who will be enlightening us aplenty this evening, Adriana. There's definitely a lot to talk about. And without further ado, how is everyone doing this evening? Okay, let me maybe deliver some more chutzpah so everyone could feel more is that the word chutzpah? So everyone
Mhm.
could feel more powered up. Hello everyone, good evening. This is Naeem and we got Oscar also from the No Nonsense Podcast. This is our second season. We are recording an episode on jobs, life, American Sign Language, the blindness rehab uh, stuff, and all kinds of other fun topics with an amazing guest who will do plenty to enlighten us. Who will do? Let me turn off my speech. Did you guys get all that?
No,
Thank the Lord. Um,
dude, just how many times have I told you to use headphones?
no, no. As long as you guys didn't get it, that's fine. That's fine. That means it doesn't transfer that noise. That's good. I mean, you don't want to hear about my Spotify updates from Jake Tapper of all people. Um, this is a non-political
Adri-
podcast, so.
Adriana's dying laughing over there.
So we have an amazing guest with us this evening. We got Adriana, and she is going to enlighten us aplenty about all kinds of topics from ASL to working as a blindness rehab professional. So it is quite a blessing to have everyone here this evening. We are going to talk about a lot tonight. But first things first, how are you, Oscar? How are you, Adriana? How's everything this
Hold
evening?
on, before we introduce Adriana real fast, you always forget to do it, Naeem. I guess I have to do it since I'm the podcast, the real podcaster here. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. No nonsense. Trying to get into the groove of things. Um, we uploaded our first. Actually, no, we actually premiered our first episode this past Sunday. Which on YouTube I got some comments, and we got our last guest actually um brought in some new ears. I haven't checked the analytics on our podcast platform yet, Naeem, to see how it's doing over there on Spotify and all that other podcasting stuff. I'm gonna check that out later, maybe tonight, and see how it did. But
Mhm.
on YouTube, we picked up a new subscriber. We actually got some comments, mainly our guests' friends, basically making fun of our guest.
Woof. Quite
so
comments to get.
so make sure you check that out. Still haven't. I typically want to set things up for 7 o'clock Eastern. On YouTube, podcast platforms really don't know. I just set it for 8 o'clock because why not? So there you go. Um, so yeah, that's the plugin we'll put in for that. Now we can introduce our guest. Sorry about that, Adriana.
Okay, so all the business stuff that I don't know much about anyway. It is a pleasure to have you with us this evening, Adriana. How are you?
Hello, it's really good to be here. My name is Adriana Baños, and yes, so I'm doing good. Thank you. How's everyone else? Oh, sorry, how are you all?
Wow.
I
Sorry.
guess we can't complain, but that would probably be a good benefit of if we were to do
I
live
want your
stream
energy
our episode.
though.
Yeah, no,
Honestly,
we do appreciate that. We do appreciate that plenty because I know I'm not walking in here delivering energy when I could be, but we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, I guess. How's Ramadan, Naeem? You're
It's
you're like what? 2 days in? 1 day in?
today is the third day, and yeah,
You're cutting out.
no, is that? Can you hear me now?
You're cutting out a little bit. Try again.
now.
Nope, you're still cutting out.
Oh,
Check your Wi-Fi. I know that I'm gonna have to do some editing for this thing. Anyway, while Nine fixes internet issues, yeah, check your Wi-Fi. I got something real fast. All right, introduce yourself, Adriana, while we wait for Naim to fix his technical difficulties.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Adriana, or it's oh god. Okay, I'm dying. Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Adriana. Really good to be here. And so, how are you all doing this evening?
All right, I guess. Um, Tell us more about yourself. Um, what you do, what you like to do with your spare time.
Am I back now?
There you go. I think you're fine.
Okay. I literally just clicked on the same Wi-Fi. It still shows 3 of 3 bars, so hopefully it'll work now.
I have a question. Are you spinning around?
No,
Okay, good.
as you could probably see on the camera. Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry about that.
Ustedes, no inventen.
Hey, blind joke. I'll give you that.
Oh, is that supposed to be a joke?
Respect. Anyway, yeah, tell us more about yourself, Adriana, so we can
Okay, I'll just
get deep into the discussions.
so I'm just gonna restart the whole thing because I'm gonna. Okay. So hi everyone. My name is Adriana. I currently work for a nonprofit organization who we do serve people with cross disabilities of any age. I am from Southern Texas, so think of if anybody knows of Corpus Christi. I am way south Corpus Christi. We're in the Rio Grande Valley, and we do serve like rural communities, or we serve rural areas, um, and assist our consumers to gain any type of resources that are as there are very few resources here, but the few resources that we have, we're able to provide our consumers with any type of assistance that they might need. Um, so that's me. That's what I do.
So you serve communities more than just the blind, because the way I understood it is you're a blindness rehab professional. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. So we serve people like we serve all types of. So we've worked with people with like interdevelopmental disabilities and like mobility, like anything between that range. We've worked with all of them. I have worked with um um what do you call it, individuals who are blind and or visually impaired. That is my primary focus. However, it's not like the I help in anything other than just blindness.
I see. I see. And so you probably have some working knowledge in other fields of disability. I know you said you're learning, or you're already fluent in American Sign Language ASL. Is that correct?
I am currently still learning, still picking up a few signs here and there, just a little bit of the basics, but it's interesting.
So how do you learn sign language as a blind individual? I understand you're a Braille reader, correct?
Yes, that would be
All right.
correct.
So how do you learn sign language not being able to see, sign?
So as a uh, person who who is blind, learning ASL sometimes it can be a bit of a challenge, especially if you don't have the right type of support for it. The way that we've done it, I remember when I first started interning at the nonprofit that I work for. Um, they our coworkers who are deaf, they were hosting ASL classes, and so there was someone who used to work as a counselor for the deaf and hard of hearing, and so this person would so they would use a hand over hand technique, and use. If anybody has ever even heard of the hand over hand technique, right? So you have
Describe it for our viewers, please.
yes. So the hand over hand technique is, in essence, the someone who is someone who is showing you something. Let's say someone, in this case, we're talking about ASL. So the person who is sighted, who is signing, will put their hand underneath your hand, so it's so you can feel what they're doing. So that's the technique that my coworker would use in learning ASL, or while I was learning in the first class of ASL that we were taking.
Okay, cool.
So, what else comes in learning sign? How do you, I guess, um, know? I don't know if this is the right question. Know that you're communicating the right thing, and how are you able to understand the response of the other person? Let's say, do all people who use sign language uh, understand how to do sign using the hand over hand technique, or are you only communicating with those who are using sign with hand over hand technique, who are just in a particular, basically in, I don't want to use your bubble in a pejorative way, but what I mean is like folks who are also familiar with the blindness thing, or do all people who use sign, who are hard of hearing or deaf, um, can very easily adjust to the hand over hand technique?
Yeah, so something that I've noticed a lot in the, I've come across different one of some of the few examples that I can think of, because um have been so one time, I know I have my coworkers, right? My coworkers are used to seeing me walk, there. I'm the only person that uses a cane there, who is completely blind. So they are, they're very aware of others. Since they can't hear, they're very aware of everything that's happening around them. They will use their eyes pretty much their only form of them knowing anything that's happening around them. So one thing that I have noticed is that, they notice that you are blind, they notice you are visually impaired, whatever term you prefer to use. They notice that you're a person with vision loss, and so they'll immediately resort to using hand over hand. That's something that I have done, and it's interesting to think about, to see that happening, because usually you would see, any person that's guys, I'm going on a rant here, I'm sorry.
No, no, please
Go ahead.
continue, because I
No,
think
you're
my
good.
next question, I
any,
think you're going to be able to answer my next question in what you're saying. So, uh,
any any person, who is any person that has any form of sight, they won't respond very, they won't be as accommodating.
yeah.
And so with my coworkers, and even an experience that I had with an Uber driver. This Uber driver, she was also deaf, and at the time I didn't know very well how to communicate with her, but she was very, very, very nice, very sweet. She, she made sure they'll do very like audible sounds to help you. Like they'll do things they can't tell that, well, they can't hear you. They can't tell they're being loud, but they know that you can. So they'll try to signal to you as possible to, like, if you're trying to find a door, they're gonna hit it. They're gonna do something to help you, like, it's right here, it's right here, it's right here. They're communicating with you. They'll tap your shoulder so that you know that they're speaking to you.
So, because I
Hold,
presume there
hold
have
on, hold
to
on,
be
hold on.
folks who are. I think my next question, Adriana, is with there are folks who are both deaf and blind. what medium of communication tends to be the better medium for them, the Braille or the hand over hand sign language?
Yeah, so they could use a variety of both. I know, for example, one of the main techniques someone who is working with people who are deaf and blind, you might want to use tactile sign language, which is in essence how you had described, right, the hand over hand. Um, so
So
that
the proper term is tactile sign. Sorry for interrupting.
yes.
Okay, tactile sign.
Um, so that's what you would want to use with them. And also another form is like you had mentioned the braille. I know they use braille displays more often than we could think, because that's practically their only um, way of being able to actually speak their minds, be able to communicate with you, be able to tell you, or and for them to read what you want or what they want. What am I saying here? For them to be able to read what you're trying to tell them. There you go. Sorry.
No, that's valuable information. How do you enjoy the work?
It's it's very rewarding. It's very, very rewarding. A lot of the real work happens behind one of our main programs, which would be like the core. Um, so I think a lot of the real work happens with our caseworkers and our independent living skills um, teachers. Like they're the ones that really do the real work is there.
Yeah.
Sorry. In general, being there, knowing that you're really making a difference, and you're advocating for your help. You're like what am I saying here? You're getting them the assistance that they need, because that's a lot of what I did. That was case management. So when you're doing case management, and then you know that you're speaking on behalf of this person, finding the appropriate resources for them, and then knowing that you were actually able to get them the help that they needed,
Yeah.
that is, it's satisfying. It's really, really nice to know that, hey, like, we were able to do something for this person, and they're not stuck like they were.
Yeah. So, do you feel that there should be more integration of curriculum between that curriculum instruction rehab material for the blind and that for the deaf community? Do you feel there's enough communication between both communities, if community is an appropriate word, in terms of learning and skills training? I know blindness skills training is kind of its own facet. It's kind of its own so how much interaction is there? Because there has to be, I don't know the statistics on it, but some significant number of folks who are both either visually impaired or totally blind, and either hard of hearing or deaf.
There isn't much. Um, to
There
be
isn't much interaction, or there isn't many folks who have both.
there isn't much interaction between them, because actually so I can't say that I know the stats exactly for deaf blind um
Individual.
in general, but I know, like, for example, the deaf community is large.
Oh yeah.
It's huge. There's a lot of people, and then there's blindness, right?
Hmm.
So each, just like blindness is its own thing, so would deaf blindness be the same. It's its own branch.
Yeah.
and then you have the deaf. So it's true, like no one really, the two community the three communities don't really interconnect much.
And to your knowledge, do you believe that is to the disadvantage of all communities? And when you say three communities, who's the third?
So that would be because since all three of them are their own branches: the blind, the deaf blind, and the deaf.
Okay, so you're kind of looking at it like a Venn diagram, and
Yes.
okay, and so have the deaf blind been disadvantaged from the lack of curriculum interaction, to your knowledge?
I wouldn't be able to really
You
speak.
could always plead the fifth if you needed to.
No, like I don't really, how do I say it? Like, wait, okay, hold on, take a pause here, repeat the question, I got lost.
Are there a significant number of folks who are both deaf and blind who have been disadvantaged in terms of curriculum on one side, the other side, or both? Where do you feel there's the lack of interaction between curriculums? More on the blind side, more on the deaf side? It's hard to tell.
It's really, it kind of is a little bit
Spill the
hard
tea.
to believe. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's, you have, on one hand they're teaching them, okay, their communication skills, all of that, and then you have them like learning how to manage themselves. So it's a little it's a little it's a little difficult to actually tell, like, okay, what is,
Who's being disadvantaged? Is there really a disadvantage?
because
Where the disadvantage is coming from?
mhm.
Fair enough.
Avani, like each group has their own, I don't know how to explain it, like there's, I don't
Can
know
you
how
say it in Spanish? 'Cause maybe I can help.
to like, mm, they have their own, like,
Their own way?
yeah, como que sus propias facetas de entrenamiento. Tienen su
Oh, their own facets,
yeah,
Okay.
like,
factions or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, actions. Okay. So they kind of break off. So I think what I'm trying to figure out is because the blind community, if we could call it that, is a pretty coherent set of people. I'm not going to say, I don't know relatively whether it would be described as a large community or a small community, but there's resources, interaction, and if you dig below the surface level, you find out that basically everyone knows each other. Um,
True.
for lack of better terms, I'm pretty sure there's many blind people out there who aren't really integrated into the community. I think what I'm trying to figure out is, number one, is that the same with the deaf community, and number two, when someone is deaf blind, where do they kind of fall, or do they have their own kind of community already established?
okay, I'm gonna take a pause here. Naeem, you should have dumbed it down like that from the beginning. I'm slow. So actually, yes. So there have been actually quite a few stories, and what's really interesting is that, to first of all, yes, there's a lot of people that do know each other, and they form connections among themselves as well as with people, who are fluent in their language, just like anyone. You find someone, let's say, speak English, and then you find someone that speaks English. Oh, hey, cool, we're buddies now, we're besties. Find someone that speaks, I don't know, German, Russian. You come up with these connections. You form friendships, and you connect over the fact that you speak your own language, right? So there are, they do, right? They know each other, as and they also know people who speak their language. And there's also, when you meet someone who is deaf, I kid you not, I kid you not, these people could spend hours upon hours upon hours telling you stories about their lives. Literally, you will meet them and you could stay standing there for like 4 hours and you'll never notice, because they're telling you a lot of stories, and sign language is super animated, so it's like, they're telling you a story and it's like you're living it, and you're like, just, it's amazing. It's super expressive.
So, being someone who's active in the blind community, I have met some deaf-blind folks. I just haven't met a lot. Are they really engaged with the blind community, or do they have their own community formed? I think is what I'm trying to figure out.
um I think they form part of both, to be
Okay.
perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
I think that they merge. It's like a little, like you had mentioned earlier, like a little, it's like a web, and then you have the little middle right there.
Yeah, kind of like
They
the
come
middle.
together as one.
Yeah.
Sorry that it took me forever to answer that question.
No, this is helpful.
No,
This is helpful.
it's all. We can blame Naeem.
It went in circles.
When in doubt, blame Naeem.
We have a walking dictionary. That's good. That's amazing. I like that. That's cool.
Oh man,
Mm-hmm.
walking dictionary. I never thought of it that way. I'm gonna pass that along.
Yeah, I don't know what I it was quite a struggle for me to figure out how to ask that question. I don't know if there are other questions you have, Oscar, or wanted to give you some space.
No, I'm good. I
What
think you
about
asked.
when you had said that you met people who are deaf and blind? How have your interactions been with them? How have you, like, you know
Me personally, I haven't.
you have not?
No, I have not. Like, I mean, the only if it counts for anything, my vision teacher when I was in high school,
Mm-hmm.
she was like partial, like she was blind enough where she could, she's legally blind in the state of Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
but good enough. She had enough vision to drive.
Ah.
And she also, because she had a lot of health issues, there were times where um she actually had to use sign language, and unfortunately for me and the other student that I went to high school with, we could not she would have to, because I remember this day where it was really bad. Like, she really could not talk whatsoever. And she had to, like, in a raspy voice, and she only could whisper. So if we needed to talk to her, we had to, like, go up to her, like go up to the desk and like ask her, because she wouldn't, be able to hear us. But then I think her husband knows sign language, so because he would like FaceTime video, and then like she would communicate, like he would talk like normally, but she would communicate in sign language. And unfortunately for me, again, I never, like, I only know some of the letters in sign language, and that's pretty much it.
Right. So, in essence, what they were using is a called video relay services. And basically, it's an interpreter who connects online with the person who's deaf, and then they interpret to the hearing person, and then it goes back and forth.
So I have interacted with a couple folks. The basic sign that I was able to get signed into my hand that I understood.
Mm-hmm.
But the folks that I was communicating with, I would also, I would also, there were instances where I would just write down in Braille what I was trying to say. I would
Mm-hmm.
slate it or something, whatever tools I had available to me at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would be able to read it. Read it and communicate back, talk back. So it wasn't the most efficient process, but it worked. It worked, and communication was there and valuable.
That's amazing. I have personally not yet. I have yet to interact with someone who is deafblind. The only reason that I know about it is because that's actually the profession that I'd like to go into one day. I don't know when yet, but I would really like to do that. My main interactions have been with people who, just people who are deaf, and usually they, sometimes they'll have an interpreter, sometimes they won't. But the way that sometimes they can figure out what you're saying is like you just do like a gesture to kind of signify what you want to tell them, and then they'll teach you how to sign it. Like one of the stories that I could, or not story, but like some, it actually happened yesterday. I was telling my coworker, um, he's one of the maintenance guys, who works there in the building, right? And he comes up and he's like, "Hey, what are you drinking?" I'm like, "Tea," but I didn't know how to say tea, right? So I spelled it. I'm like, "Tea," tea. And he goes, "Oh, tea." So he just he stepped up in front of me, and he grabs my hands and he's like, "T." He was able to sign it. So he shaped my non-dominant hands with my left hand into like a little cup, and then my right hand, you have the thumb and the index finger together, and you put those inside the little circle that you made, and then you just move it like you're stirring a bag of tea.
Oh, you know what I would have said? I would have said secret stuff. The ALC. It's like, no.
No, not at work, sir.
I wonder how that would be signed.
Well, I'll tell you a funny one. For
Uh-huh.
drugs, which is something that nobody should engage in, but for
Mm-mm.
drugs, the sign for drugs, you put your non-dominant arm out, you extend it, you make like a 90-degree angle almost, and then with your dominant hand, you make a fist with a thumb up, and you put that right where with the crook of your arm is just drugs.
Oh
Oh,
Lord!
That's
okay.
crazy.
I was just trying it now. Like, oh Lord!
When I learned that, I was like, why the thumbs up? Literally, why? Just
Should be
why?
thumbs down. Thumbs down.
And then for medical, like prescription drugs, you have the letter D, and you put that on your non-dominant palm, and then you stir it around, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting sign language.
Yes.
Well, now we know how to ask for prescription drugs, I guess.
You should learn how to say that you need a doctor and a nurse. Come on.
Those are probably more important, honestly.
Especially for you, Naeem, you need to learn how to sign syncope.
That would be a good one to learn how to sign, actually.
Somebody explain what that is, please.
Oh, sorry. You want to go into that?
So basically, there's instances where one of them, I don't know if it's a blood sugar or the blood pressure, one would go real high, one would go real low at the same time, and I kind of lose consciousness for a short while.
Whoa.
But
That's
it's typically, as long as I'm like not like standing and falling over, I'm fine. It just takes time.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That's so help. I'm gonna
Yeah.
you to sign help. Your non-dominant palm, you have your hand out, like if you're gonna grab something that someone gave you, and then you put your thumb up on your dominant hand, and you put that on your palm. So help.
Okay. So have your non-dominant hand extended and your thumb up laying on your palm.
Your the area where you're like your how do I explain it? So you have your thumb up, and your pinky, like the bottom of your hand, you wanna put the bottom of your hand on the palm. So it's help.
Yeah. This is helpful to know.
So that would be help. Yeah, help me. You would point at yourself, help me.
Mm-hmm. And if you need to ask for help for someone else,
You would do the same sign, and you would point at the direction of that person.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So help them. Like help them. They need help. Help them.
as long as you're not coming from miles away summoning help, and
Mm-hmm.
that person you point in their direction, and all the other person could see is just endless,
Air.
endless
Nothing.
miles of like, no people.
I don't know why I said air. Air is literally an intangible thing.
It would more likely be trees and forest.
Trees
Wood.
and nothing.
Yeah.
Open area. Yeah.
Someone got killed in the forest when someone else was hunting, and they accidentally thought it was a deer, and they hit another hunter. I don't know.
What a dark comparison. Wow.
It happens.
Okay,
And
this
then,
podcast got dark real fast.
well, no, and then they
It
need to go
really
out and
did.
ask. They need to go out and ask for help for the
I
hunter.
mean, I'm dark,
Accidentally
but
shot, and
I mean, I like being dark, like the next guy, but
I mean, it's more common than you'd like to think with hunters because they hear
that is
they
true.
hear
But
something.
don't they have to wear color clothing?
They should, but not everyone. Not every biker wears a helmet, right?
Good point.
As sad as that is true.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, but true.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow, you blew me and Naeem out of the water, Adriana, because there's nothing interesting about my job.
I'm trying to get into the foreign service. Interesting enough, I guess.
I mean, how's that going for you?
Studying whatever I can, getting the accommodation straightened out. Pearson View, woof, man, they're wild.
Oh man, I
I
feel your
thought
pain.
you were joking around. I thought you were joking.
Yeah, I feel your pain there, buddy.
It's almost easier to run for Congress.
Congress.
I mean, because that's theoretically supposed to be hard, but it's actually easy. You just need to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you need to step away for a second?
Potentially. I'm not sure. I didn't get called again, so I hope we're good.
Okay. Anyway, before we got into the ASL conversation, I was asking you how Ramadan is going for you.
Oh, I mean, it's good. Each day it's getting easier than the day before it. Focusing on spirituality, focusing on revamping my goals, and fasting is also an opportunity to just kind of be healthier, be more conscious of what I'm eating and what I'm putting into my body, be less gluttonous, right? Of course, that's something that's synonymous with me. And figuring out a way to also be more spiritually grounded and focus on bettering myself vis-a-vis my relationship with God, right? And also just laying out more defined and clearly cut life goals as well. So lots of also family preparation and spending time with the family, which is well needed at this point in my life, trying to really work on building those family relations stronger.
Cool.
Oh, well, I mean, you wouldn't be fasting, but what have you been up to recently?
Just work.
I'm still doing school and whatever work I could come across.
You're on spring break right now, right?
No, that was last week.
Oh yes, our other friend is in spring break.
Oh, so yeah, rotating spring breaks. Yeah, no, mine was last week, March, beginning of March 4th to March 11th, like March 1st to March 8th or whatever it was.
Are you ready to graduate?
I hope so.
Again, I'll give you credit. At least you're getting ready to graduate. Our other friend is going to graduate in 2025.
Adriana's laughing because she knows what's up. we will get Jason on the podcast one of these days. Have him talk to us about his graduation goals and what.
That's going to be a 2-minute podcast. It's going to be sad.
It'll be longer than 2 minutes because
I shoot for 2 days. How about that?
It's a podcast marathon.
Anyway, I mean, what do you plan on doing? Like, what degrees are you going for again?
Well, I already wrapped up Arabic. I mean, I wrapped up global affairs, wrapped up immigration studies. Now I'm wrapping up Arabic. I haven't decided whether I'm going to leave the ethics and AI one if I decide to extend, that would just mean being there for an extra semester. But there are other unrelated circumstances I also have to figure out to
Dude,
decide what's happening.
just get rid of it. Just let that go.
But people need to have at least some knowledge on how artificial intelligence works. If you don't have a working knowledge of artificial intelligence, it's going to be the future, man. It's going to take lots of people's jobs away.
Okay, yeah, but
AI
I'm a tech geek. Do you see
apocalypse.
me interested in AI stuff?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, there's going to be a day where AI is going to take some of our jobs away from us. So I want to be ready to know how to code the AI, so my job won't be
You
lost.
know what? If they said tomorrow, Oscar, you're fired because we are gonna hire AI, I'd be like, okay, so the customers are gonna be even more furious because they hate talking to robots.
But the AI is actually getting really good these days. It's not perfect yet, but give it a decade, it's going to be perfect.
Because I couldn't tell you how many times customers called, oh, thank God you're a human. I'm like, uh, okay.
I mean, I don't disagree. I do see that there's
Like
more value to
they're
human.
like, we've been talking to the machine this for 3 hours. I'm like, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's excuse me. Oh, holy smoly. It's more effective as far as things stand right now for folks who speak to humans. But at the end of the day, companies are going to care about their bottom line. And if they could save money by just establishing a code that, by the way, will eventually put coders out of business because AI will learn how to code itself. Ooh, that's a scary thought. AI will learn how to code itself, but that's not far off into the future, honestly. Um, think of a code that could replicate itself over and over again and correct any bugs that will be inside the code. Scary, right? But it's true. It will happen.
I mean.
Well, we're gonna live like the movie Wall-E soon.
Exactly.
I haven't watched Wall-E, so
Which is
It's
terrifying.
basically about the future of robots and what's going to happen in the world
Yeah.
if robots run the show.
In essence, it's this the planet Earth is like completely just done with, and there's nothing. Then this little robot finds a cockroach and a little plant. So then they take the plant to outer space, which is where everybody's living. And then one robot is like, no, we're not going to go back to Earth. And the human is like, yes, we are. And the robot's like, no, we're not. And the human's like, yes, we are. And they go back and forth. And then, yeah.
all I hear is that Wall-E is sad. That's all I hear.
It's kind of is. It kind of is.
But it's eerily enough prediction of the future. It's kind
Yeah.
of
It's definitely it's scary how it says that like that robots have emotions or I don't know what, but it, you know.
So, what is everyone's thoughts on the future of AI? Net positive, net negative, net neutral. I mean, I personally think that in the long term, it's going to be a net positive because it's also going to help us figure out different cures to illnesses, and it's going to be effective ways of doing surgery. There's going to be a lot of drawbacks with the loss of jobs, the automation of a lot of the economy, and stuff like that. But I think new jobs will kind of create itself with AI, just the way that new jobs created themselves post the Industrial Revolution, right? So I think it's going to be a net positive. What are your thoughts, Oscar, Adriana?
Adriana, you're the guest. You can go first on that one.
Mm, we'll
Net
leave it at
positive, net negative,
we'll leave
net
it at
neutral.
that.
So net neutral, I'm guessing, or just net. We're not sure what's going to happen.
Uh, More like I don't know. They haven't really kept up
Mhm.
with the advances, but everything that is like out there, it's a little scary.
Chat GPT is pretty good.
I think it can go both ways. Like it could either be really bad or really good. So it just depends. Like it's like everything, right? Like there's 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 pros and cons for sure. Like it can be used for good, but it can also be used for evil. Just like everything else, Just like everything literally. Like you have I don't know. You have a pencil. You can use it to write a.
You can use it to write a good message, and then you can write it to say, "I'm gonna come after you."
Yeah, like see, there you go. Write a good message or a bad message.
Such
So
a dark thing.
it's no,
The
it's
way I said that
reality.
too.
Yeah, I know that was creepy. I don't know why I said that. That was just creepy. I was just like, oh, stalker at the window, guys. Scary.
1 second, y'all continue. I'm gonna.
I mean, AI is weird.
Huh?
Oh, hold on. Naeem, I'm gonna go ahead and mute you for a second.
That's okay. Finish. When you finish, call me. Don't say
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I had to mute him just in case there was a private conversation. Because I really don't want to edit that.
You're not supposed to have.
I mean, I edited. I caught some interesting stuff on other people's things, but no.
Whoa.
Yeah, sorry, I'm back.
Okay, you're fine. Where were we? Oh yeah, AI.
Net positive, net negative, net neutral, net I don't know.
No, I don't know.
Oh, am I the only one who's put thought into this? Maybe that's why I should go through with that degree.
No, because then if you end up graduating in 2025, Jason will be proven right.
Yeah, don't do that.
Watch, he's gonna graduate this May. He's gonna graduate in 24.
Claims that he's going to graduate this May.
That's what I'm saying. He's gonna graduate in 24. I'm gonna graduate in 25. So it'll just be the reverse of what would have happened.
No, I want him to graduate in 25.
I think we're both gonna end up graduating in 24. That's my prediction.
I like to plant seeds of doubt in his mind sometimes.
Oh, fair enough.
I mean, he's mean to me, so he's like, "Why do you not? Why do you support me?" I'm like, "Because you don't support me."
We'll have to get him on the podcast to discuss why there's a broken support system there.
I will be more than happy to watch this little battle.
Jason just has abandonment issues.
Woof.
Wow.
I couldn't tell you how many times he's told me, because I was like, sometimes I go away for a weekend, and he's like, "Why are you leaving me for a weekend?" I'm like, why do you act like a? I'm like, you act like a child / a woman. Like, what the heck? He's like, I misbehave. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, this is why I need to open my circle. Anyway. Naeem, is your door closed?
Sorry?
Is your door closed?
Yes, it's closed. Why?
Okay, because I just wanted to double check that your did you tell your family that you're filming? Because we can hear you.
Yeah, but oh yeah, I can hear them too. That's not good. All right, so as we were saying, I don't want to necessarily barge in and be like.
No, just let them know. Hey, I'm filming a podcast.
I mean, I told them that earlier on. They knocked on my door to come talk to me, so they should know. They should know. Nevertheless, where were we?
AI. Rihanna muted herself for a second. I don't know. I mean, I don't know with AI. I mean, if you want to, I mean, it is what it is. Like, if you want to continue with that.
I'll see. There's I said, there's other things that are unrelated at play.
How far have you gotten into the thing?
I'm 15 of the 21 credits, so 6 more credits.
Just finish it then at that point.
Yeah, I just have to see because there's other unrelated dynamics going on, so I don't know if I'll be able to go back in the fall and stuff like that. So
are they not offering it during the summer? Because if they knock it out in the summer, there you go.
That would be nice. No, most likely not. I mean, we'll see. But that professor tends not to like to teach in the summer, so This comes to shove, I'll just graduate.
He's one of the professor. You don't have any professors that be begging you to take a course.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Because I remember I think it was my second semester at community college where like the professor like he was like because we ended the class like it was the end of the semester and he's like thank you guys for being an awesome class, I really enjoyed the blah blah blah. He's like by the way I'm opening up, I forgot what class it was, he was a history professor, so teaching some sort of history stuff. um and he's like, by the way, I'm teaching this class. Do you, if you guys can consider, enrolling just, to support me, blah blah blah. He's like, my son really wants an Xbox or something like that, and I, don't know if I'm gonna have enough money, but if enough of you enroll in the class, um, maybe I'll have enough money to get that Xbox because I also don't want to fight with my wife. And I really don't want to be thrown out in the street. And I'm like, okay, you stressed that out too far, my friend.
I mean, has a good point though. To make that money for the Xbox.
Oh, okay. I think Adriana's having a side conversation. Anywho,
Sorry, I just got stopped by a really, really dark comment.
wait, what?
No, nada. It was I have a guest in my bedroom, and so they were speaking right now that I was muted, and they told me something really, really dark, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that.
Now you got me intrigued.
Yeah, so they were like, since you like to do research, you should do like a podcast on like murder, and I'm like, no. Like
Interesting.
murder crimes, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna be traumatized.
I mean, there are some of those that can't fall asleep at night after watching Forensic Files and all those murder mystery stuff. I don't know about you guys. Like, I can sleep at night. It doesn't haunt my dreams.
Oh no, I cannot do that. No, I will forever be like. Then that makes me think of many other. Okay. Do you know how many things? Like, okay, you see this one thing where they're like, oh yeah, this person was on a bus, and then they were talking to this person that seemed really innocent, and then this person took them to their house and killed them. Like, then that makes me question everybody I talk to. Like, no.
I mean, I used to think like that, but unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but Naeem has opened me up to sometimes I overlook that sometimes, and then I'm like, oh, wait a second, hold on, pause.
Yeah, I could see that.
Oh jeez. Like literally.
What about you, Naeem? Do you if you watch like something scary, like for example, like something suspenseful, does it keep you up at night?
Um, what I notice happens with me is like anything that's major, whether it's suspenseful, dramatic, that happens maybe like 1 second. What's his name? If something happens like 3 or 4 hours before I go to sleep, not right before I go to sleep, and not like in the early morning, but if something happens like early evening ish, then I'll dream about it. In the nighttime, if it's something that has been on my mind, obviously with a little more color and a little more drama as dreams come. I don't know if it's just me, but like the perception of what happens in a dream always it appears to me more dramatic than the experience in real life.
I mean, technically, dreams are just part
Recreate.
of recreating what you either experienced during that day or things that happen in your mind that haven't come to light.
Yeah, basically.
Or your worst fears.
Or sometimes it's just random dreams about stuff that really don't even make any sense, but they just happen in your mind.
I've had weird dreams in the like recently where I'm still blind, but yet I decide to take my parents' car out for a spin, and I end up driving said car without getting into an accident. I wake up and I'm like, I really want to know how I actually do that in my dream.
Been there before. Has anybody also? This is really random, but has anybody ever dreamed of a person that you know you've never spoken to before, but like they appear in your dream and you're like, why?
Yep.
Like who? You know that there's actually there's actually um, I don't even remember the name of the person who said it, but they were a, there's a like doctor, psychologist, man, person. I don't know.
Psychologist, man, person, I don't know.
Yeah, and they said, I think it's a woman. Actually, I don't even know, but they said that people that you see in your dreams are actually people that you have seen around before, but that like you didn't have an interaction with. It's just like random people that you see in public just pop up in your dreams for no reason.
Yeah, like you create individuals who you otherwise would not have known. That happens to me a lot. Yeah, I mean, I would attach a voice, sometimes even a name, to someone I don't like. There's someone I like created in my mind. I don't
You're
really
cutting out again.
know if that person exists in real
You're
life.
cutting out
And it
again.
would be curious to test that out. It would be curious to see if they actually turn out to be real people who exist.
I will tell you a hilarious story
Okay.
that about that happened to me when I was like 11 years old.
All right.
There was this one show that I really liked. It's called Pequeños Gigantes, which little giants, little mega stars, whatever.
Isn't that the movie?
There is there a movie called that? I don't even know.
Yeah, it's called the Little. Wait, are you talking about a show or are you talking about a movie?
It's a show.
Okay, because I've heard of a movie called The Little Giants.
Oh, okay. I have never heard of that movie, but now I'm curious to look that up, see what it's about. Um, so the show, it's about these kids who are really talented, right? They're, they pick these kids and they dance and they sing and they they act and things like that, right?
Hmm.
So there was this one specific kid that I really admired in that show. His name um was Hiroshi, right? That kid was super beautiful voice. He really really sang really pretty, like, oh my goodness, like I loved his voice, right? And for some reason, I don't know why, I ended up dreaming of this one person, and for some reason their name was Alex. And Alex had Hiroshi's voice, but not his body, right? Like he didn't look like Hiroshi at all. He just had Hiroshi's voice. And for some reason, when I woke up, I had this giant crush on someone whose name was Alex, and I
Oh,
didn't even know who Alex was.
okay. Interesting.
That, that's like the weirdest thing. That's like the mind is weird.
The
The
mind is
mind is
yeah,
really really weird.
so weird.
Yes, I have had instances where I'll dream up people who I don't even know if they exist. They seem like decent people out in this world. Maybe they do exist, and it would probably be a little more creepy if they did exist, though. If they turned out to be real
Sometimes
people.
I have deja vus, like deja vu moments.
Oh no, I straight up create new people who I don't even know. How is deja vu? I've not had that experience.
Oh no, I've had that. I've had it so many times. I'm
Oh
like,
yes,
How
it's
does it
interesting.
feel?
you've never had a deja vu moment?
I lived in
No.
deja vu literally practically all day today. It was weird.
Oh, that's how.
Okay, yeah, interesting.
Super weird. It's super, super, super weird. Like I feel like my boss was acting a way that I was acting, but then she became me, and it was weird. I don't know how to explain it.
She became you. What?
Not really. What I okay. I said it, but that's not how I meant it. So
Maybe
basically,
you had some like telepathic empathy towards her or something, where you guys felt like you were one.
oh no, it was more like she was reflecting speech patterns that I had used in the past, and she had attitudes that I had had in the past. So I feel like everything she was doing, I had already done.
Interesting.
And I do remember because then I linked back those moments, and I was like, oh yeah, I did this, and now you're doing it. It's weird. It's the weirdest feeling ever.
Ooh, interesting.
Crazy, but cool. Crazy, but cool. Oh, tomorrow's Pie Day.
Yep.
Anyone have plans for pie?
No, because unfortunately, as soon as I get out of work, I have to get ready and go to church or go to my meeting. So
I want to find a way to get some pie because I love pie. Pie is really good. Pie is the best.
unfortunately, well,
Sounds like you disagree.
in Richmond, there was a pie. I don't know if you remember this. There was a, what was it called? Pie Inc. or Pie Incorporated or whatever it's called.
You mean
Proper Pie. That's what it's
pies?
called.
Yeah,
Proper Pies.
I wonder if that's still out there.
If I end up going to Richmond this summer, I'll let you know.
Yeah, be sure to let me know. Tell me how good their food is these days. Oh, we have to get those lamb burgers.
Yeah, but you ain't
That
gonna.
place is still around.
Did you apply?
Um,
Yes or no?
I applied, I think, the wrong way because I got an email back saying we don't accept Google Drive documents or something like that. So,
Well, double check if the opening, if it's still open, because if it is,
wasn't it supposed to close on the 11th?
yeah, but you know how these centers
They don't actually get who they need, so they keep on extending it. They don't get enough applications. Only like 3 people apply, and they are hoping to have enough people to compare.
I mean, my job interview, interestingly enough, because the person that interviewed me, I spoke to her and she's like, "Can you interview this Friday?" I'm like, unfortunately, at my place of employment, I'm like, I have to, give them a week in advance that I'm gonna miss some time. Tell me why she decides to select. Can you do March 29th? I'm like,
Well, that gives you enough time.
Okay.
March 29th it is.
March 29th, and I'm actually just gonna use that day to do other personal stuff.
Yeah, just take off and get other stuff done that need to get done.
Mm-hmm. AKA taxes.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. You should. Are you gonna file online?
You and I can talk about that because I do have questions about that.
We should do an episode on filing taxes as a blind person. Would you be down, Adriana, or are you not filing your taxes yet?
Yeah, I filed it, but I had a tax preparer do that for me.
Oh, you just hired someone.
This is my first time because I filed under my mom. So
Jason knows a really good tax preparer. I think it's like his aunt or something.
Oh yeah, his aunt. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know he told me she helped him out a lot. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
because
I
he
was like,
tells me
wow.
he's like, dude, I just mailed my taxes in. I'm like, I can't do that.
Ew. She's like, my preparer. It's like, oh, cool. But yeah, so it's an option to do it on the free website. It's cheaper that way than hiring someone.
That is so true.
Again, this is my first year filing as a dependent, so
Interesting.
we'll see how that goes. What are you doing?
Replying to someone who I know is going to go to sleep. I not reply now.
Oh, okay.
But sorry, I had to just take care of it quick. Now I'm back on the right screen. Why you notice my screen disappeared?
No. It's just you were tapping.
Oh, you heard my typing. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so we could talk about voiceover, right? There'd be a good podcast episode on voiceover gestures and stuff like that. Should we do that right now? Are you interested in talking voiceover?
Well, here's the thing. We're over the 1 hour and 5 minute mark.
How are you feeling, Adriana? Are you falling asleep? You're not ready to give a lesson on voiceover? I'll take that as a no.
Here's an interesting topic. How each blind person actually uses their tech on a daily basis.
That is a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that. We should get a whole bunch of different people who use different types of technology. So, like, if there's someone who only uses their phone, we make sure we only have one person talking about that. If there's someone who always uses their laptop computer. Well, I use my laptop computer, but not as much as I used to. We have someone talk about that.
I use
Mac.
laptop.
Then
I
a
use
different
laptop
operating
everywhere.
The PC and the Mac. You know, we could have someone on PC,
Yeah.
someone on Mac.
Yeah, with different operating systems. That'd be good.
Yeah, and someone on a braille display, like a braille note or hymns, or what is it called, the braille sense? Or the braille mantis.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't like him's products, so that person would not be friends with me.
I'm pretty sure there's someone out there who we could find who does hymns.
No, I'm banning him.
blame-
I'm banning people that use him's products from this podcast.
Well, the reality of the situation is, at least in my personal opinion, we could discuss this further in the podcast episode. We could get into more detail. The reality of the situation is most of these braille display type things, I think in the long term, are always going to be technology that lags behind just getting mainstream tech. And we could discuss that, in further detail.
I mean, I don't know.
Always going to be
I don't know if you caught on to the
Android
conversation that Adriana and I were having backstage when we were talking about BRL files.
Oh yeah.
That's also 1999.
I basically enlightened her. I was like, oh. I'm like, I just make sure that my editing thing is on so that way I can type my notes in my BRL file.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I was like, whoa, because all this time I'm stressing out over my notes, where I leave them, where they are, and they told me that, and I was like, wait. Okay.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Mhm.
Gave me an idea as well.
Mhm.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Now I know I'm gonna read longer presentations and what. I remember that time I had to read that Word document, presidential report for VABS. Whew.
Oh yeah.
Felt so scripted. Next time I'm just gonna do bullet points of this is what I'm gonna talk about, this is what I'm talking about, this is what I'm talking
Dude,
about.
I forgot.
just wing
Oh, is it want to know why it was scripted? It was because
it was the literal document of all the report.
And here's the thing, I think that since you were so taken aback, I forgot what happened, and then Mark or the other person basically had another person whisper in his ear, "This is what you're gonna say." Me personally, I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean it's more challenging that way. Just get a little note card of what the things are you're going to want to talk about, and then wing it. Have you had to give any big speeches, Adriana, and how have you planned for them?
Same way that you have, yeah. We used to do a lot of outreach for for the program that I work for. So I because I think I had already mentioned to y'all that I work for the vaccine access program, right? So literally, we're just talking to people about vaccines, like the benefits, things like that. And yeah, pretty much the same thing. I remember, oh my goodness, it's so frustrating to me. But my boss was like, say everything that's there on the PowerPoint. Read it word for word. We're like, no, we don't. Why? That's super scripted. Like, it's supposed to sound natural. And she was like, no, just read it like that. But I would still sneak bullet points in there because
it makes sense. Yeah.
It's easier to just voice your, like, it's just easier to sound more natural like that, because and then it's easier to remember what you're gonna say too.
Yeah, that's why like when I do sports things, because like Jason always tells me, he's like, dude, because there's times where I like blank and I'm
He's
like,
a communications major, so he's gonna want you to follow all the communications etiquette.
yeah, and I'm like, anyway, this thing happened, and then he's like, dude, you really should. He's like, you really should have a script. I'm like, no, because then I'm gonna be looking at the entire time. Then my thing is gonna be scripted.
I mean, you could use a script to bounce ideas off of, but yeah, it's no need to read the whole thing.
I think
Like,
that's where, like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was saying that that's why it's like, that's why it's kind of, that's where the bullet points and like little highlights, like, where little, what am I saying here? The little, that's where the bullet points and the little summarizations of, like, the little paragraphs, if you do have a script, come in handy, because that's where you just get the highlights and the ideas, like the main points, because it's just, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I know that, like, when I look at a script, if I have one written down, I'm literally gonna read the whole thing out loud. I can't just scroll through it like,
For
what?
work, for my work at least,
Uh-huh.
we have scripts for certain scenarios.
Uh-huh.
Like for example, because some customers they like so say because I mainly work for like uh the for Medicaid, food stamps, and cash assistance. So say because I guess like the place that I work for have certain lines for certain things. So say that they're calling for a password reset for their account. The script says, and you have to start. And I at first I would get deducted points because I didn't say the entire greeting. You have to say, "Hi, my name is fill in name. Thank you for calling the My Access portal line." I'm like, and if you don't state the entire greeting, they dock you.
Whoa. That's
Customer
interesting.
work, that's just how it is.
I was like, and then at the end, you have to say, "Thank you for calling the You do you have any further questions?" And they're like either yes or no. Okay, well, I'd like to thank you for calling DCF, the My Access Portal line. You have a good day. If you don't say thank you for calling the My Access Portal line, they will dock you another 5 points.
Wow.
I guess just so the customers know where they're calling or who they're calling, for that matter.
No, but sometimes the callers don't even know. Don't even know, dude. Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just, oh, excuse me.
like today, I actually got a customer who was born in 1929.
Wow.
There are folks from 1929 still alive. May God give them a long life. Hopefully, they can make it to 2029.
Oh, I've actually had a customer that was 102 years old.
Wow, that is amazing.
That's
It
pretty.
was really hard for me to understand her.
Yeah, when you get to a certain age, your speech enunciation isn't what it used to be. But I mean, obviously, she's healthy if she's been able to make it this long. May she get another decade.
Mhm. I don't remember people's case files for me to look up. Oh yeah, I remember this 102-year-old.
Yeah, yeah,
It's kind of good that I don't because I would get fired.
yeah, for sure.
HIPAA. Mm-hmm.
Even though getting fired from that job wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
No, but no,
So
but if
you
you're
never want to get fired from anywhere, though. That's the rule of
no,
thumb.
especially not if you're registered for HIPAA, because once you get fired, that's a little,
Yeah, you don't want the HIPAA credentials.
yeah. It's
Like I couldn't like good news like for today, for example, like I had a customer and I've some of them are sly. I'll give them that. Some of them are they think they can be very slick, but when they slip up, they're like, "Oh my god." Cuz so I had this customer who, you know, I state my greeting, "Hi, may I have your name?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm this person." I'm like, "Okay." So I'm like, may I have your social security number, right? And they, they spew it off. And I'm like, okay. And I verify who I think is them correctly, right? And I'm like, okay, so how can we assist you? Like, what do you need to know? Well, I'm calling on behalf of my sister. I was like, and I had to pause. I was like, wait. I'm like, ma'am. I'm like, is this account yours? No, it's my sister's. I'm like, well, unfortunately, you have to give your sister the phone, and I have to verify them now because this is their account, and they have to be vocal and give me the permission. They're like, she was like, yeah, but she doesn't know how. I'm like, well, you either that or I have to transfer you over to someone that can assist you. And she's like, no. So like, it just took a while because like I guess like the person couldn't read.
It would have been nice if they just told you from the beginning. You would have put in information once.
Either that or just said, hey, because I've had customers where like, hey, this person can't verify, but is it okay that you help me? And unfortunately, I cannot because power of attorney is also something that we can't mess with.
Oh
So
yes. Power of attorney is, oh my goodness. It's almost like dealing, it's equally as, this is so interesting that we got into this conversation. Okay. Sorry, I had to take a pause
no,
and
you're
breathe.
fine. So
Fine.
like, and some of them push back. Like I remember one customer, and this will tie into like how I honestly don't know how I did not get in trouble for this. I guess um I'm happy that they didn't QA me because I would have gotten in trouble. But it's not because I knew it was common knowledge. So we are taught that we can attend customers who are deaf, the interpreters, but there's a caveat. The interpreter needs to give you, hi, my name is, so and so, and I'm agent, and they spew off, numbers, right?
Yeah.
So, this customer was like, hi, my name is, and I'm talking on behalf of my brother who's deaf and can't speak. So I'm like, okay, ma'am, unfortunately, I cannot assist you. Um, I have to transfer you over. So she was like, "Oh no, please don't transfer me over." And she, give me a sob story, and I'm like, "Okay, ma'am. Well, let me see what I can do. Let me see if what I'm if I can still attend to this call because I do understand that your brother can't communicate." So I ask one of the QQ agents because the questions queue because we reach if there's also a set of agents where if we don't know anything we reach out to them because they would have more information. She laughs at me and she's like, "Yeah, you can attend that call." I'm like, "Okay." I was like, "Okay." So here am I, none the wiser, and I'm like, "Okay, fine." So then another question arises, and I fell into question queue, and she was like, "Wait a second, you said that he was hard of hearing and mute." I'm like, "Yeah." You said that the person was their sister. I'm like, "Yeah." You're supposed to transfer those calls, right? I'm like, "Yes," and I was told differently. She's like, "Yeah, you gotta find a way to transfer her." I was like, "Great."
Yeah, that's supervisors for you. But you were going to make a point about power of attorney, Adriana. And
Oh yes, I was saying that's equally as sensitive as dealing with children also.
yes.
It's very, 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 very limited. The things you can do are very limited.
Correct.
Yeah, but that's tough about that, the fact that they didn't tell you.
That
Like
is
the
odd,
fact
yeah.
that they just, like, why would they?
At least I caught it. Like at least I
Yes.
caught it. I was like, because sometimes they're tricky. Sometimes they're sneaky, and I'm like, and I think to myself because I'm already way deep into the call and way into the research, and I'm like, oh man, hopefully I do not get QA'd
Yeah.
and fail.
Gentlemen, I am so sorry. My tablet is literally about to die.
Do what Naeem does and just plug it in. It's like no.
I literally can't. I also have to go to sleep because I have to wake up early tomorrow.
No, you're fine.
my brain's about to die too.
Yeah, I have an early rise either way. Plus we already passed over the allotted time.
I have to
We
be at
are
the gym at
currently at
4:45.
2 hours, at an hour and 20 minutes to be precise.
No, we had a great conversation, and we really
Yeah.
do appreciate having gotten into this conversation, talking work and jobs and what our works look like. And I have learned a lot, and I'm pretty sure our viewers as well, surrounding ASL and hand over hand technique sign language. And there was a term for it, right? It wasn't hand over hand, it was tactile sign language, if I remember correctly. And we learned more about the intricacies of rules surrounding customer service representative work, intriguing, important delineations on power of attorney and handling minors' sensitive information, as well as a in-depth conversation about artificial intelligence. So I feel we have definitely learned a lot this evening, and would love to have you back on the show, Adriana, when you feel you would like to come back. So do you think we'll get you back? We'll get you back with Jason, maybe. We'll have a convo.
That's
a
gonna
convo
be
couch.
This has absolutely been fun, and yes, I'd love to. I'd love to if the opportunity presents itself.
All right. We'll have our communications major. Be sure to give us some more comments on how to more effectively podcast. I could see Jason giving his 2 cents.
that's another reason why I wanna steer away from him for a bit because he's
Oh
very
Lord.
it's not even his podcast, and he's like, dude, why do you not even do this? I'm like, Jesus Christ, just leave us alone.
I mean, we could learn from him. He's got the background in communications, and he's done the whole
Communication. He doesn't know how
UNLV
to communicate
journalism
his
thing.
feelings well.
Maybe that, but he definitely knows how to do the intricacies of public like PR type communication type stuff.
This is the
Journalism.
you're giving the guy like too much credit. This is the same guy who basically goes on rants and says inappropriate things on air. So you really want to give him props?
Well, he just has different standards in terms of what should and shouldn't be discussed on air, but that's not a question of his intellectual acumen as far as communication degree knowledge is concerned.
Anyway, let's end this.
Our brains are all dying out. It was a pleasure talking with all of you.
Yeah, take us home, Nine. Do the whole spiel at the end.
Yeah, sure. So it was great having you with us, Adriana. How could are you a public figure yourself? Do you put content out there? Is there anything you want to plug for the viewers?
No, to be honest, I'm a very, very private person, so
You're not a social
not
media
really anywhere
influencer?
that you can find me other than my Facebook, but I don't really accept requests on there.
Yeah, no, fair enough. You should become a social media influencer. I think you have a lot to offer, and you could probably offer more of a positive perspective than most influencers, if you ask me my opinion, at least.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Anywho, make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe to the No Nonsense Podcast channel on YouTube, and the No Nonsense Podcast on wherever you get your podcasts. We usually use Anchor /
They'll end up on
Spotify. To upload the podcast. Again, we just released our first episode this past Sunday. Well, first episode in a while. This past Sunday. Go check that out. That'll also be in the descriptions of all the places where you can get this podcast and on YouTube. Until then, guys, that was No Nonsense, whatever episode this is.
Season 2, I think. Episode 3, episode 2.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, we will see you guys next time.
Thank you for joining us, Adriana.